Hey guys, today I want to give you an overview of objection handling. So this is any time during your consultation call, you're going to have to deal with people that, maybe they appear that they want your help, but at the end of the call, they just start hesitating for whatever reason. So this is going to help you really learn how to overcome a lot of those objections and make sure you get paid as much as possible. So also, if you want some help growing your business, okay, these are all the different lessons that we've learned over a decade of running our accounting and bookkeeping business. Now, if you want some help, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of a mentorship program. So today, inside of our objection handling overview, I want to start with telling you about the 5 different levels of 5 different layers of objection handling. I used to say 5 different levels, but what that would cause people to think is like levels, like you're in a ranking system. This is more about like layers and time frames of objection handling. So if you know exactly where you are in the situation or the sales process, it will cause you to be able to go and make the right decision more times rather than not. Because really, when it comes down to it, all sales is just a series of decisions to either move you towards having someone work with you or move you away from having someone work with you. So I just kind of want to give you those different weapons when you're inside of this call today. Now, keep in mind, these are very, very powerful. So you use at your own discretion and do not use these for evil because they are very, very powerful. Now, one thing to note as well is that when I say a sales process, that's from when someone first hears your name to when someone buys from you. That's a sales process. The time frame. Now, there's a sales process. These are the different steps you take amongst there. The sales cycle is from when they hear you to when they buy. It's a sales cycle. Sales process. What steps do you make people take within that sales cycle to buy from you? Okay? So, sales process element number 1. Inside the sales cycle, there is before the call. So before the call, you want to give them as much information about yourself, your company, and your service as possible. 3 levels of trust. Trust in you as a person, trust in your company, and then trust in your service. Now, in the beginning, if it's just you, trust in yourself and your company will be together. Where when you start getting contracts and employees that are more forward-facing, then you'll have to talk about your company as well. But you always have to build trust in your service as well, right? So the building trust in yourself / your company is like, do you actually keep the promises you say? Like, what is your reputation as a person? Now, the service is more, will it work, will it not work, right? That's the key thing. So it's always easier to get someone to understand your service and believe in your service, a little bit easier than to get it to believe in yourself, right? Because there's a lot of accountants, a lot of bookkeepers out there. Some are better than others, some are unreputable, some are very reputable. So you have to be able to explain basically why someone should work with you over the other. There's about 54,000 CPA firms in the United States right now, right? So you have a lot of competition to a certain degree. I mean, like is that a lot? Kind of, not really, right? There's 330 million people inside the United States. There's about 40 small businesses, even countless more like contractors or people that are W-2 plus have like a side hustle. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not really because there's so many targets, but it's one of those things. So number 1, before the call, okay, that's all about creating trust. That's with your content, whether you do video, whether you do audio, whether you do written, right? Doesn't matter. It's just how much content can someone consume before they get on the phone with you or the video Zoom chat with you. Now, there's different places that you can actually handle objections. Number 1, whenever I'm thinking of objection handling, I need to understand what is the real objection and then start handling it. If you just try and handle it without knowing or having insight into what it actually is, you're not going to be able to really do a good job. So let me put in perspective. One way I can see if someone is wanting to work with me or someone's wanting to pay me is to have a form when someone books a call, right? So I have like a Schedule 1 or a Calendly form that someone fills out whenever they're trying to book a call with myself. On that form, I'm going to basically ask about different types of objections that could come up during the call because I want to see how does this person think about each one of these objections. The worse someone fills out on the answers on the form, the less likely I'm actually going to speak to them. I might, in some cases, cancel the call because in a lot of cases, even if you could close them, it really, after a certain point, becomes about really choosing and selecting your clients. And I prefer working with people that are very positive. I prefer working with people that are very optimistic, very focused. I do not like working with people who are negative. I do not like working with people that are going to be causing us stress inside the business. I don't want someone who's going to be calling me every 25 seconds because of XYZ thing, right? I want a very peaceful business. So for me, I'm very selective with who we actually speak to on our consultation calls, number 1. Number 2, if someone enters a phone or form well, that does not mean they're going to buy from you, but it gives you a higher likelihood that they actually will. So that's before the call. Another thing you can do before the call is after someone has booked a call, you want to have a redirect page or manually send some sort of page that has different testimonials, different reviews, just different things about you and your company that will get people to fully understand, like, how can you help them out? What do you do? And like, why should they actually work with your company? Remember, we're trying to get on the big three, right? You, company, service. And on that page, we'll generally warm them up. So you might have something that gives like a lukewarm form response where it's like, okay, they have money, they don't know if they want to work with you, they don't know anything about you. Then when they watch this stuff and they consume this content, this warm-up content, when they get on the phone, oftentimes they will be so much more bought into you, and the call is so much warmer, right? So that's how we talk about before the call. I got to know what I'm up against, how far away am I from the sale, and can I get the person to consume some before the call sales information. Now, one thing that I do is now while I'm during the call, so in the call there is a price drop. That's when you say your tax plan's going to be between $3,000 to $10,000. You give them a very specific number, right? So before that, that's before the price drop. After that is after the price drop. So we're going to talk about before the price drop. Now, it's one myth that you have to wait till after you've dropped your price to object and handle. That's a myth. I didn't know this for like the first 2 years in business. It wasn't. I paid a guy literally $12,000 to sit with me every day for 6 months and teach me sales. It would look like we would review my past sales calls, see what I did good, what I did bad. We would practice different scenarios that I did wrong in my decision tree processes to make sure they were better. I would then be given different word tracks of what to say for certain objections in certain situations. I have to write them down 3 to 5 times every single day. I have to say it and actually practice delivering them with that person every single day, right? So it was just so much work learning how to do this. I paid so much money to do it. I think to date on sales, I've paid about 35 to $40K on like just sales courses and trainers specifically. So that's number one. Now, before the price drop, right? It's really about knowing and understanding what are their like false beliefs, right? Do they have a DIY belief where it's like, what, don't pay someone money if you can do it yourself? Or do they feel like they have to like talk to their business partner before they can buy something, right? Maybe they have like a wife or a husband, maybe they have a business partner. They like talk to someone before they can make a decision. Is this of importance to them now, or are they like going to prioritize a vacation, or they have some other major project that they're going to want to undertake before they do this? Do they feel like they have the time to commit to doing this, right? Luckily for us, to make a tax plan doesn't really take much of their time, but that is still an objection they might have to face. Have they worked with someone in the past that got them audited? Okay, that's another one, okay? Have they worked with someone in the past that said they would do something but couldn't deliver on those promises? Million different objections that you could be facing, but I need to see each one of them. There's really 7 main objections, and like we have other videos that kind of break down which of each of the 7 objections actually are. So, but there's 7 main objections you're going to be facing. So before you drop your price, you need to first ask questions, see how they feel and how they believe about each one of those different things. That's number one. Now this is in addition to like the tax planning questions you have to ask, right? Like what year, how far back, etc., etc. But a lot of people they go into accounting mode too quickly, and they don't go into objection handling mode or objection listening mode soon enough. So remember, whenever we're handling objections, I need to understand what is the actual objection first, and I'm going to handle it second. Understand first, handle second. That's so critical. So critical. Okay? Because if you don't understand what the true objection is, you just start talking, you feel like you're lecturing the person. So let's say that they're like, they don't want to work with you because like they tried to work with someone before and the person messed up the books. But they tell you, I don't know if I should hire someone or if I should do it myself. If you start attacking the DIY objection, it's not really going to be effective on them because that's not their objection. And number 2, they'll be like, this person doesn't listen to me, or why does this person just tell me what to do? I know what to do. I'm a good business owner. So instead, if you can ask some questions on like, yeah, man, when you say like you can do it yourself versus it might be better than getting someone else to do it, like why do you feel that way? Or like, did something cause you to feel like that? And then it's like, oh, well, I worked with this person a number of years ago, and blah 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 blah. And then what you can do from there is you have a couple different paths. You could do like Are you married? The person's like, yes. Okay, so was your spouse the first person you dated? They're like, no. And it's like, well, so the first one that you dated, did you stop after that? No. Okay, so it's the same thing here, right? It's just like dating, right? You're trying to date to find who is going to be your long-term provider. So you can't just stop because you have one bad experience. You can't let that ruin the rest of your life, right? Like, yeah. Boom. Simple. You can do another one which can be like burn twice. If you're in our program, like we'll give you all these different like word tracks and like literally on a Google document. And we'll teach you how to practice it so it becomes very natural. Like that line, I have not had to say that line in probably about a year and a half. But I still pretty much remembered it word for word for word. I might put a little bit of inflections, a little different inflection when I'm talking to an actual person, but that is the word track pretty similar. And again, that's from practice. Like I have so many different word tracks in my head that I've probably forgotten about that most people don't even know. And by knowing exactly like when to use them, how to use them, it just makes things so much easier for you. So you don't have to worry about like doing the calls. Now, you might have heard this a couple of times. Sales calls about decision trees. A decision tree is an A or a B. In my mind, I'm always trying to get the decision tree to be an A or a B. So I'll ask an open-ended question to gain clarity and understand what the person means. Then when I think I have clarity, I'm saying, is it going to be A or B, right? Because there's usually two different objection handling lines that you could use for each situation. But I'm always asking, like, is it that they can't or that they won't, right? Essentially what it is. So, like, DIY objection is first, right? So like, oh, then explain it's because they've been burned or if they've had someone that didn't do them right, okay? From there, it's okay, so, are you saying that, you're open to potentially, getting help? Or are you saying like, B, like, you feel that since that person did something bad, you're less likely to get help because you don't know who you can trust, right? So it's like, okay, I'm open to getting help. Okay, cool, we skip that, we're good. Versus, oh no, I need to kind of like really protect myself and blah blah blah. After you do that, then you would hit them with the line about like the wife or the first person you date versus the last person you date, right? So then from there you check to see if it actually hit. If it hit, then you move on. If it did not hit and like the person's like, oh well, I still don't know. Okay, next thing you got to do is you have to say, okay, so based on that, you try to protect yourself. What is your criteria to know if the person you select is going to be good? Option A is they don't know. Oh, well, I don't really know. Option B is they say, okay, I need to know this, and this. Option B, if they can specifically tell you what each one of those are, amazing. Super great, easy. Okay? You can answer those questions. If it's the right fit, then you answer the questions. If it's not the right fit, answer the questions, let them know it's not the right fit. Versus they don't know, then you would give them different criteria of how to best select an option. And we'll go over that in a future video, but like today I just want to go more of like the overview, like what actually looks like where you are. But that's how you'd be thinking about objection handling. Because then, if you can handle all these objections before the price has been dropped, by the time you drop the price, it's a yes or no. Or a yes, or like maybe they might just think about it for one day. And we'll talk about how to handle that in a minute. Cool. Let's move forward to after you drop the price. Okay, so you say the price is $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. And then depending how you say the price drop is an objection handle in itself. If you go super energetic, like, oh my gosh, it's so much money. It's $12,000. I'm saying that kind of animatedly because I literally had a student that did that for like one of the cleanups. So like, bro, that felt like so much money. Like I think it wasn't even 12. I think he said it for like a thing that was like $3,000. But like the way he said $3,000 was so heavy. I was like, I'm nervous after you said that. But instead, if you say it in a very calm, just normal, matter-of-fact tone, then it doesn't put a lot of weight on it, and the people are more likely to understand that price and to think about it more logically. If you give someone emotion, generally, most people will respond to you. By the time you get to the end of the call, like the price drop, if you have done it correctly, you are going to be leading the conversation. So they are looking up to you, they are deferring to you, they are following your lead. So if you cause them to be emotional, they will not really know why they're feeling emotional. They'll associate that with your service and think it's like the universe is giving them like a sign that's the wrong thing to do. Right? Like that'll happen a lot. Versus if you just give them nothing to be nervous about and just calmly do it. Oh yeah, I'll do that. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool, let's go. And it's just so calm, right? But let's say that you drop the price and they're just like kind of like not really moving forward. Okay, couple things. You need to be able to see like, is this person closable on this call or are they not closable on this call? If they are closable on this call, then you can objection handle. If they're not, I would have you go in and defer to a different thing. We'll talk about the different thing in a minute. So when I think of who is closable, I'm thinking of people that are a definite yes or a very strong maybe. Okay? Anytime someone's a no, just let them go. Like, you don't try and close someone that's a no. It's just it's not really worth the energy. Yes, you might make an extra $2,000, extra $5,000. Okay, cool, Bryce. If I do enough of those and I work hard enough, the extra $5,000 will add up. So if I get 5 people more from objection handling, then that'll be an extra $25,000 a year. It's like, okay, cool, awesome. Good for you. But there's gonna come a time in your career where like an extra like $5,000 to deal with like all this like just annoyance, because then the rest of your day is ruined, right? Because then you're dealing with someone, it's like they're arguing with you and just like, ugh, do you really want to kind of deal with that, or just kind of like just move on to the next one, save your energy, and go book 5 more calls? That's always my thinking, right? Because I'm good at marketing, I don't have to put so much pressure on the sales process. Like, I don't need every sale to close. I don't want every sale to close, right? So like for me, it's like, okay, so I can either like sit here on this phone and talk to this person, try and objection handle them for like 30 to 40 minutes, but like in that same 30 to 40 minute time frame, I could have just gone and written an article that would go and bring in another client, or I could have gone and made a YouTube video that will bring another client. So like, why am I sitting here spending my time with this person who is not going to be a good fit? They're not going to work really well. It's going to be annoying dealing with them, when I can just say, okay, cool, man, when you're ready, come back. When you change your mind, come back, and then we can move. So you have to kind of make that decision over time. In the beginning, you probably need more objection handling. Unless you're in our mentorship program. If you're in our mentorship program, we'll just show you how to like not have to objection handle hard, and just makes it easier, right? So that's number A, right? So you're gonna be doing your pricing of handling objections. So I'm always trying to see A or B. So first I diffuse the situation. They give me an objection, no worries. Okay, this is all about your energy. How your energy is going to determine how easy it is to close or move someone forward. Okay, you cannot make this a big deal. There's going to be a duality in you, okay? You want to make the sale, you might need to make the sale, but you have to be able to detach your energy from that. I used to be super confused because I would hear people say like, it's all about like, you got to learn how to want the sale, but detach yourself from the outcome. That never worked for me, never resonated with me. I needed to make sure I had the outcome in mind, but it was my energy and the way I spoke to people that would change and make the biggest thing. For me, whenever I objection handle, if I kind of go like, oh my gosh, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, it's very judgmental, deep tone that's more like your chest voice. That tends to cause people to kind of feel like you are judging them, which will cause them to push back. Versus for me, I try and use more of my head voice, like my higher voice. It's like, it kind of feels like it's at the top of my tonsils or whatever, versus like my lower chest voice, right? And that causes me to talk a little bit lighter to the person. Energy-wise, it's not pushing so much on them. It's more kind of pulling out what they mean. It's like, I need clarity kind of speak, right? And it just works so much better. It's all about the energy. So like, you never want to mask that, hey, I want to work with you, I want to make money. But it's the energy that you do with the person, rather than being like you are against them. It's you and them are working together to see what is the best plan of action, what's the best time frame of action to work. That's so critical. People can feel that. They don't. Anytime that on these sales calls, it's about. So a lot of people think like you want to kind of like build the emotion. You want them to buy in an emotional state. What I've found is it's better if you can suck all the emotion out of the call. I don't want any emotions in the call, because think about it. For tax planning services, you are going to save someone $100,000 and charge them $10,000. Why would you not give someone $10,000 to go get an extra $100,000? The only reason was because like you're thinking emotionally. So there's fear. If I give this person $10,000 and they don't save me $100,000, then I've lost money. So if you can take the emotion out of it and just make it very matter of fact, and this is just what happens, there's no reason why someone does not work with you if they're actually serious and if they have the money. The only time that someone really should not get started with you, if you're doing your process right, is that they just literally can't afford it right now, and they don't have like the cash flow or the credit to like take something out. That's really the only time. Like, if I'm being truly honest with you. So like minimum, you should minimum have like a 30 to 40% close rate. Like, so that means like for every like 10 people that come to you, you should have 4 or 5 of them sign up with you. Like, and I know that might sound crazy. Like, that's such a high number. Like, you might be signing like 1 out of 10 right now, and it's like that's okay. You might be signing 0 out of 10. I don't know. I'm not sitting in front of you, right? But in reality, if you do all this stuff correctly, like, it just makes sales so much easier, so much less pressury. Like, you don't feel like you're selling people hard. You only work with like good clients. Like the last 2 years, like ever since I started capping our mentorship program, I'll give you an example. I cap off our mentorship program. So we have like mentorship program A and mentorship program B. Mentorship program A is more for like high ticket bookkeeping. Mentorship program B is more for like the tax planning, right? So this video is about teaching you how to do like tax planning. I only work with really good people that have skills, that want to move forward quickly and want to go and attack this thing. Like, anyone that gives me any kind of weird objection or any kind of like sign that they are not serious about this, I literally just say, hey man, it's just not a good fit. And like, someone would be like, that's kind of mean, man. You're supposed to be helping people. I'm like, no man, I only want to help people that really want to help themselves. Anyone that really wants to help themselves, if they do exactly what I tell them to do, they're successful. It's because I give you a statistical process. Everything we do is about statistics. If you notice, I just said you should be closing 3 or 4 out of 10. How do I know that? Because statistics, right? We know exactly how many people are going to show up on the call. We know how many objections you should be getting. We know exactly how to pinpoint which objection you're going to be getting most at the end of the call and how to handle that, okay? So moving forward, so you've done all you could with objection handling. You watched some of our other videos that kind of give you different objection handling lines. Okay, they're not going to budge. They're like a no or like a very soft maybe. So they're leaning more towards no. If you know, for example, they don't have the money to work with you, they're not willing to go take out credit, okay, I leave those people, they come back when they want, right? They'll actually be moved down to like step like 5 or like layer 5. But if I think someone's a strong maybe or a weak maybe, what I do is I schedule a follow-up call. I don't need someone to make a decision on the first time I speak with them. I don't need that. I used to think so when I was first getting started because like I had kind of some sales coaches that were saying if they don't buy immediately, they're lost forever. That's not necessarily true. If you do objection handling the way I teach you, we have a lot of people that buy like on the second time that they speak to me. So I just schedule a follow-up call. In between that follow-up call, so this actually moves to layer number 4. It's post-sales call. I'm going to be giving them resources to evaluate my program in a very specific way. I know exactly what people need to hear, see, and understand in order to make a decision yes or no. So then on that follow-up call, you should be closing 1 out of 3 of the people that show up on the follow-up call. Or 1 of 3 people that book a follow-up call. 1 person out of those 3 are not going to show up to the follow-up call. 1 person's going to show up and give you a bunch of objections. Other person's going to show up and they're going to buy. Very simple. Very simple. So it's going to be 30% of all follow-up calls will buy from you, but 50% of follow-up calls actually show up will buy. So just very, very simple math right there. Okay? But on that, and if you don't know what to put on that like post-sales call like information kind of packet, I will give you exactly what to do. We'll build it together and I'll just take all the guesswork out of it. Okay? And that's very simple. That's actually the simplest part is like the post-sales call research process. Okay, cool. You get to the end of that follow-up call or they don't show up, what do you do next? Okay, environment. So environment's going to be your content, it's going to be your email list, it's going to be basically anything people can, it could be a book if you have a book out. I have like a book out for like bookkeeping and like how to get high 6-figure partnerships, right? So if someone does not buy or doesn't have the money or doesn't have whatever, I send them a copy of my book, I send them to my YouTube channel, and I make sure they're in one of my like online communities. And they can just watch me for the rest of their life until they're ready to buy. And it's super helpful as well. You'll probably get like 1 to 3 deals a quarter just from that. So that's $15,000 off of people that maybe were saving up money to do your service, right? So it's very simple. Now, all this stuff, man, like I know it might sound complicated. Like this video itself is like 25 minutes. We didn't even go over like exactly what to say. Like there's so much stuff that you need to know and do correctly in order to find success. Now, it's easy if you're working with someone who can mentor you and tell you what to focus on versus what not to focus on. So I can tell you what to skip. But if you don't have that, you have to go watch literally by probably the next like 3 to 6 months, we're probably gonna have over 100 videos on this channel, right? Which might not sound like a lot, but like I can shoot a lot of videos. Like don't get me wrong, I can shoot 5 videos a day if I had the time and I really wanted to, right? That's a lot. I don't have time to watch 5 videos a day. I don't have time to watch like 1 million hours of video content. I just need someone to tell me exactly what to do. That's why I spend so much money in coaching, right? So if you want the most direct path towards your goal, so you can skip the line, skip all the trial and error, and just know exactly what you need to do to go and find success, go ahead and click the link inside the description either above or below the video to book a call with myself. Let's see if I can help you, right? It's cool to watch these videos and stuff, but it's hard to implement a lot of this stuff, right? You're gonna probably do the same exact thing you've been doing when the pressure's on you and when you're in the middle of the sales call. Unless you have structured, guided practice to know exactly what to do at any given time to make sure that you can handle your situation and take the right decisions. So if that's you, click the link, book the call. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to see if I can help you out, okay? I'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Take it easy.